Well, hello everyone and welcome to week 2 of home learning at Robina State High School. Firstly, a big thank you to all of the students who helped by contributing to the Anzac Day video that went out to the community last week. It was fantastic, and a big shout out to everyone who engaged with that video and acknowledged Anzac Day over the weekend. Last week we talked about looking after your physical health and the importance of exercise and staying active while you're at home. This week we're going to talk about the importance of mental health and looking after your own well-being during this very, very unusual time. So I've got some of our key staff here today, our guidance officer team and Mrs. Tyne, just to talk to us a little bit about that area. And I'm going to start with Edith. And Edith, the question I have for you is, why is it important to look after your mental health, particularly at a time like this?
Absolutely, thank you. Look, as we know, life has suddenly become very, very different to as we know it. So all the things that we used to be able to do are suddenly we can't do anymore. We can't hang out with our group of friends anymore. We can't go to school and learn with the teachers anymore. Everything's online. You can't go to the sports club anymore. And when you turn on the news, there's lots of scary things that you're seeing in the news right now. So there's lots of things happening right now in life that can be quite overwhelming because we can't control them. But fortunately, there are lots of things that we still can control. So we can stay on top of our mental health. And self-care and self-kindness right now is so important. And there are lots and lots of things that we can do to make sure that we feel okay about this all. So Sue's going to talk a bit more about the exact things that we can do to stay on top of it.
Well, thank you very much, Edith. So let's talk to Mrs. Barnwell right now. So Mrs. Barnwell, what are some things that we can do while we're in isolation to look after ourselves and our own well-being?
It's really important, even though you're not at school, that you have some sort of routine and structure in your day, and that includes sleep patterns, that you need to be up at a certain time of day, and you're not on holidays anymore, so you need to get to bed at a reasonable time. Eating regularly throughout the day. If you're a very active person and you're used to doing a lot of sport, you need to be breaking up your day in amongst your lessons with some sport or activity out in the yard, whether you go out and play with a dog or do some sit-ups or do whatever you do for sport. And those of you who are in the sports academy will have probably some routines that you're up to doing anyway. The other thing I think is really important, whether you're used to being outside or not, is to get outside and get some sunshine. And if you're a creative person, it's really important that you do something creative, whether that's making something, fixing something, getting your guitar out, doing something that makes you feel good. And particularly in those between lessons 2 and 3 during the day, there's a big long piece of work that you need to do. You might need to break that up between lessons 2 and 3 with a quick 10-minute break, because when you get back to your work, you're more refreshed to do that. I think the other thing too is, if you're finding yourself mad, sad or moody, that you need to get some help before it sort of gets really interrupts your day. So if you can be proactive about that, reach out to someone to talk to about that. I would ask you to reach out rather than hold on to stuff that's really bothering you. So be proactive about if you're not feeling right in yourself. Thank you.
So that's really good advice, Miss Barnwell, and we really appreciate that. I've also got Mrs. Tyne here today, and I know, Mrs. Tyne, that we've been sending a lot of resources home to students and links, and we've been posting different graphics on our social media pages. But is there any advice you can give our students about things they can do or resources they can access?
Certainly. So there's some really easy ways that you can get support if you're feeling worried or unhappy and you need someone to talk to. So please remember that our guidance officers are here on site every day, and you're able to email, call, or even if you wish to book in to come in and talk to them face to face, because it's always good if you're feeling worried to come in, have a chat, and usually that will make you feel better. The other thing that you can do is make sure that you're engaging the Stronger Together activities that are being provided to you by our year leaders, because they've got really good activities that can teach you some skills that you can employ to help yourself while you're working at home and learning at home. And they also might be able to address some of the feelings that you're having right at that point in time. And the third way is, yes, we've been posting lots of graphics and lots of online agencies like Kids Helpline and Headspace and Smiling Minds that you can also access really easily, either by phoning them or dropping them an email, and they're there to help you and support you. So again, just like Sue said, make sure you don't keep it inside, make sure you reach out and get that support, and we're here to help.
Well done to everyone. You really are doing an amazing job working at home, and we realise that it's a completely new space for all of us. So we really are impressed by the resilience that you are showing and the great sense of humour that you have around that as well. For the remainder of the update, I've actually am going to go around to some staff rooms now and just hear from the teachers, because I know they have lots of stories about things that they are very impressed with in relation to week 1 and how it went. Thank you.
What's really impressed me is the students' learning space at home and their ability to organise themselves really effectively, and that's been really evident in the working stations at home. So well done, students.
What's impressed me? I've been really impressed by students working really hard at home. They've been taking responsibility for their learning, so that's been really lovely to see. And I've been really impressed by just the new opportunity that we've got in this online learning space for using OneNote and sharing resources. So I think that it's a really big learning journey for everyone, and it's been a really good one.
12年生の日本語のクラスは数学を勉強しています。一番いい学生は誰でしょうか？ Non, Chloe, Jack, おめでとうございました。
Hi, what's impressed me this week is some particularly good work from Jai and Elizabeth in Year 12 VAP, who got on board from 8 a.m. on the very first Monday back after the holidays and have continued with excellent work last week, and I really appreciate the way that they've committed themselves to their work, and they've been sending work in and they're working ahead of schedule. I'm so proud of them.
Well done to all the triathlon guys, and thank you very much for all your hard work with your training. You've been sending lots of photos in. It's been awesome to see. You're a true inspiration to Robina, and keep up the great work. Well done.
What's impressed me is the resilience that you have shown in adjusting to learning at home.
What's impressed me is the engagement with my Year 8 role class students, checking in with me each morning, but also filling out their well-being stuff too. And some have said how they've enjoyed the sunny days, the opportunity to get out at home and play with their pets and animals and go for walks. So that's great. It's been really good to get that feedback from them.
Okay, what's impressed me most is my Stronger Together class of religiously checked in by the required time, if not before, every week. That's been great. Individual shout out to Ella, who completed probably the equivalent of 2 to 3 weeks worth of work overnight. She probably did a red eye and finished in the morning. Not too sure how her other subjects are going, but I've got to find some extra work for her to do, so well done Ella, good job.
Alright, something that's impressed me is students keeping their sense of humour and still keeping on task and having a good time even though they're in this tricky situation.
So what's impressed me at Robina with our online learning is across the arts everyone is engaging really well. It's amazing to see how people are using their creativity at home in different ways. I know in the arts we're getting them to make work from anything that's lying around the house. I know in Year 12 particularly they're working on some landscape paintings and thinking about using tea and coffee and anything that's in the kitchen, so making anything from nothing. In drama we've had wonderful engagement with people sending in videos of them actually working, not just writing, actually acting and doing things like that. So that's what's impressed me in the arts.
What's impressed me is that kids have been very diligently getting back into their kitchens and helping out their families and being creative. So some of the creations include apple and cinnamon pastry roses, bacon wrapped filet mignon, homemade apple pie with pastry from scratch. Year 11, great work. Now, homemade sourdough toast with smashed avo, and the list continues, so beautiful. Now, out of the kitchen, my kids have been swimming, cycling, new puppies, additions to families and gardening. How wonderful.
Okay, so what impressed me most from week 1 of term 2 homeschooling was my greetings from my roll class, year 9, in particularly Luke, who sends me a fun fact for the day. Every day. I think today's was chickens are the best and most popular child to eat.
Okay, I'm super impressed with my Year 8 students who've kept me on task, making sure the Year 8K OneNote is perfect, and the Year 11 Maths Method students who've just produced a problem solving and modelling task, and they've asked lots of questions and kept in touch with us, and they've done a really good job.
What's impressed me is the students' ability to actually contact and request for help.
Hello, I'm so impressed to hear about 7J. 7J apparently last week did 100% of their science work to a very high standard. 100% of the class, 100% of the work. You can't get much better than that. Good job, 7J.